win this map, if Secret cannot lock in this map, it's a quick day for HellRaisers. And that's the concern right now, is Secret are aware of this. They know where the pressure's going to come from. There were mistakes that was pointed out by the desk. There were mistakes in the sides of Secret, which, you know, it could have got them a couple more rounds. We could have seen a bank that goes to OT. It still technically favored HellRaisers, but still, those mistakes happen on another map. HellRaisers are a team that can and will and have taken advantage of mistakes. What happens on your map, you're in uh-oh territory, which is next to Christmas territory.
That is a very thin line then between Christmas, which is all about joy, and uh-oh, which is we might lose our tier 1 spot.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Either way, Flores to be removed. It's going to be the alternating ban compared to the previous round so far. Of course, still a defensive one to come on the board from the side of Team Secret. And the Iruni to be removed. So that is going to be the second ban that alters from our first map. Of course, different maps require different bans, and I totally get the Iruni. It's such a nuisance to play against, especially on bar gaming holds.
Okay, I get the Iruni, but you gotta have a damn good plan if you're removing an Iruni, because there's a reason that some operators aren't banned, and it's usually because it's not that they're integral to both teams' hold, but they're so ingrained in what is the current meta setup, in what is the current play, that you can devise a clever play and ploy without them, and you might be able to piece together. If I'm going to highlight anything, I guess, you know, I would say it's the similarities of when people first started banning Thatcher. However long ago, teams weren't used to playing without a Thatcher, and the teams that had plan Bs that were good were great suddenly.
There's one...
That's an Iruni ban for me.
There's one small thing I worry about right now, Emmy.
What?
Counter grenades.
Yeah.
Or 6. And then you count the anti-grenade stuff, like magnets, gates, ADSs. There's none currently, so I'm expecting this to be a very explosive round where a lot of the key positions are going to be pre-naded and might just as well be cleared out as a result for that.
They're still hanging Christmas
decorations. They're still decorating in the meantime.
I don't want to point it out, but I think that they've just put their decoration on upside down. The bow's at the top and the tassels on the bottom. Come on.
Yeah.
Is how it's...
I see it. It's unfortunate.
But they're doing... I love this set. I walked in and saw it in rehearsals, and I wasn't feeling Christmassy until I walked into work. You know?
I get that, yeah. It's, I mean... Like where we are also looks very Christmassy, to be fair.
Well, that's very Christmassy. What a gift that is.
No, that's just a free mirror window you can open, and that's fine. I mean, it's not the side directly, so I guess it's just going to be more difficult for Packbull to play below.
But it's the top. Where we start is the top, and it's the build-up here as they try and steady their way across. Now, Chalet is an extensive fight, and it's an extension fight, and that's why I was talking about the Iruni ban being such a play, because you've got to have very creative ideas on how you want to slow them down. Usually, you would have an Iruni there on the double door leading into piano. Usually, you might even have them on box when the wall falls, that you have something else to burn through. The mirror window is those extensions, and the mirror window is what they're going to see if they can play with here, as often she's off the board. Instead, and in the pocket of the situation, they're hoping HellRaisers don't have the preparations without an Iruni to see if they can make things connect, because you just don't expect her to be gone. Look at this, very deep underneath Rome here. They're going to see if they can get the full stretch all the way around, and they're going to build their way back round onto Packbull, who's still buried in underneath. There's only really 2 players onto the site, and HellRaisers don't massively seem aware of that, but they're still aware that somebody's on the roam, and they're making sure that they have that set up to catch them on the way back through.
As they're rotating back up to the top, they know that some of the angles might have been compromised here as Rush trying to take care of the Mew Jammer, fails to do so for now. And HellRaisers with 1 minute and 15 left, not too much time, but they'll start opening up the wall here with a nice line for the Maverick. Of course, the Guiding NEC4 as a mission starts to take a small bit of damage here and there.
Kendrew, hopped up by the coffee machine, is going to see if he can catch the head of anybody that doesn't think that they can get it. There is a bit of a drift by. Emission's going to see if they can hunt the mirror underneath. Do you have to get that vertical control? And Kendrew gets that hop up there onto Rush. That was the twitch. that's now taken care of as they got themselves a little bit too close to the firing line. A slow crawl round to a bit of a knocked opening there. Hopes to get one more as that mirror window falls. He was already out of play in place in that situation. No C4 in their pocket, but a grenade in his. As Smash is able to find Keenan 30 seconds. And they've still got to try and find their way through into box, making sure the corners are caught, just burning their way up. It's not going to fall otherwise. This is a very tricky wall in a lot of people's pockets, but as it gets popped open, it's still not fully connected. Flarezo still has work to do, and we're now down to only 15 seconds. Exodus just decides to take the door, swings round, gets Kendrew knocked up and looking for the fight there onto the bed, sprays through, and Sleben suffers, but it's Gomfi that's able to get one back, dropped inside the bathroom, just Packbull left underneath. The C4 doesn't quite catch it, and we're in a post-plant situation.
It's a good attempt there with a C4, but it's not going to be able to connect, as you just said. And a 1v3 now, pushing up the back stairs. Wants to go big here, Packbull, but as he runs for cover, he gets taken out. And HellRaisers, even though they struggle with opening up the map and the actual wall here towards the site, still managed to run away with that very first round. So key for them. Round 2 shortly underway. Secret, they had an opportunity there to lock it off, but were maybe a little bit too far detached from the actual site that was being attacked.
I guess I would have to go back and see how he was able to get so deep into Piano, because Gomfi wasn't far away. We saw him, you know, suffer just on the connecting door between Piano and the bathroom. He was in a position to potentially swing on and apply some pressure. Maybe he was slightly deeper inside the bathroom, waiting for the approach on the side. He went back and went back. But either way, it just took one brisk bit of movement for a player to sort of charge their way through, and Kendrew's gone, who was entirely caught unaware, and they didn't have the cover that they otherwise wanted, and then they lost the following firefights. For what seemed like a pretty standard opening there for Secret, it unfortunately careened into something a little bit more disastrous.
Yeah, and it's definitely not how they want to start off their Chalet here with a loss instantly, and thus they decide to run it back. Go for it twice, hoping that this time it does stick in their favor. And to be fair, right, except for the early mirror that fell due to a Twitch drone, the rest went quite okay, to be fair. It was partially due to the opening that was made by the Maverick and not completely held well by the side of HellRaisers, but also due to the fact that the wall didn't really open up as they would have liked to have it. And those are things that HellRaisers can improve on. Both these teams, they have played this round just now. Both these teams have made some small mistakes. And it's just going to be a matter of who improves the most to make sure that they pick up this one.
So, the mirror window that got dropped quite early before is going to be, yet again, played and placed in the same place, but you assume there'll be a little bit more awareness for the potential of that Twitch drone. A bit of a change here as a Mission. He's gone underneath. He's gone for a more direct hunt, potentially, to see if he can cause some pressure underneath, and he might find Gomfi, who is otherwise just spraying bullets and keeping them a bit cautious. There is some drone cover. They have themselves locked in on the basket, and that's just going to force the Secret players further away, who are instead going to see if they can hold on to ground that they lost quite quickly before. But look at this. Smash is able to just swing in here, puts the pressure onto a staircase that is usually so hotly contested, and there's nobody from the side of Secret even close.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of members of Secret outside, and they were also near the library, and there's still yet another player. It's Packbull, who now gets spotted. They try and go for some wall bangs here. Won't find him, however, as Packbull escapes with his life and manages to get a kill as well. The mirror window, however, has fallen into the control of the side of HellRaisers, and that forces him to fall back. But a lot of good control here for the side of HellRaisers. They do have Solarium under their control, and they can start pushing towards the bathroom from this position.
God, as we said it at the beginning, HellRaisers are a team that is so good at seeing a weakness and exploiting it. This is it manifested. They entirely saw that they could take over Solarium and the Sun Stairs, and they just blindingly blitzed their way through. And there's a little pocket of time here, and obviously it sort of came down to that risky firefight Packbull stuck around with and waited for the spray to come through, suffered half health damage because of it, but then got the very important kill round. Kendra on the door is really dancing dangerously and finds the kill onto the player right by the doors, cooking a grenade and pulls away. They knew there was one on the window, and that's a Mission going to get some revenge there from underneath as Kenny's caught on the retreat. They have one more grenade. They're going to try and pop their way over to the bathroom, but it's Keenan stuck in on the corner, still safe, waiting for the swing in, but 50 seconds, and it goes into his favor. He now pulls back. It's this sort of strike and retreat, so HellRaisers aren't able to get into this trade game. They've done so well, but one more grenade round the corner, and Keenan's still able to just slink and slither away.
At least force them back just a little bit here. If they manage to get into the right position to go for a plant, it could have been successful, but the Nitro does take care of that cover. Exodus has fallen, and that means they now need to push him with just a mission in a 1v3 situation. He's got 2 angles to go for, 2 opportunities, and decides to go towards the closet. Potentially could go for a plant here, but doesn't quite want to put all his eggs into one basket, and instead tries to go for some kills instead. Managed to get 1, but not more than that. Secret eventually will bring it back here, and well, it was a very good start from HellRaisers. However, this time it was Secret that managed to bring it back.
It's cautious from Secret, and there's still these little mistakes, and I mean, you know, handing over that big bout of territory is such a dangerous game with a team that likes to go quick, and the fact that they pushed down first and downstairs, if they hadn't, you know, have not got the kill onto Packbull. If they had have got the kill onto Packbull, even, that's probably a smoother way of saying that sentence, it would have been a very different story, because at that point, most of Secret is out of place and position. There was one player, which was Kendrew, holding onto the doors, and from that point onwards, it's just putting the pressure upwards. But the slight stem allowed some of the Secret players to reimagine themselves on the backside, and it just turned to, well, we don't have any utility or gadgetry on that side. We've just got to try and catch them with clever swings. It came through for them, but it was still so risky, so sort of dire at points, and, you know, it's 1-1. This is their map. This starts to go away from them, as we said, and it's suddenly a very dangerous-looking story here for Secret.
It definitely is. In a mission, well, he tried his best, but unfortunately was not able to clutch it out. I mentioned it as well, HellRaisers, they were basically in control of that round if they were just a little bit quicker, because 3 of those members were downstairs, rotated up from the library side, and weren't on the actual side. It was just, I believe, Kendrew that was on the actual side itself. If they managed to figure that out, it could have been just a very quick overwhelm and turning off the forces with 45 seconds on that clock. Now, preparation phase has ended yet once more. This time around, we are in bar gaming. Again, we do this time see that Jaeger, which means these grenades are not going to be as impactful as they otherwise could be, as more utility needs to be used to get rid of them. That is a very big pick. However, the shield gone, the ADS gone, the bulletproof gone. Suddenly Keenan all on his lonesome here.
God, the Twitch drone once again is causing so many problems. Is able to just find their way through 2 ADSs, 1 Goyo shielded at bulletproof, all within a space of 10 seconds, all from just driving in from lobby door and screaming its way up the stairs. And it's just such a blow, because they need to have these extensions. They do not have the safety of the Aruni, which they removed, and they're losing so much of the other safety that they've got. It's just turning into a scrappy fight. And here Exodus is peppering some bullets through, almost catches a bit of a retreat and a swing round, but the position of Gomfi is now so much riskier, not to say anything about the position of Keenan, which is about to come under a lot of duress.
Yeah, as soon as they manage to open up that wall and put some pressure from the fireplace, it's suddenly 2 angles at once he needs to take care of. Quickly, Sleben still in a position to provide some support with a shield that is still working, of course, with an ADS as well. And as the Twitch drone is trying to take care of that PC utility now, surely the grenades and the flashbangs are starting to come in very soon here to get rid of that shield at least. And that successfully will be done so by the Twitch drone, actually, and a grenade that does take care of the default cam.
Well, pulled away and bounced grenades around to make sure nobody else is there to try and put some pressure in. Keenan cannot take the first fight against Exodus, who swings round and gets aggressive. Gomfi almost suffers, getting some revenge of his own. The C4 a little bit premature, as it just goes before Smash takes up the mantle. But you can see the pings are coming round. Smash knows that somebody's there. The pre-fire comes on a connection, and Emission gets the lock off, and they were nowhere near as sneaky as they want. And that is the danger of Chalet, is on a drone game, on an intel game, it works so well for attackers. Sleben,
oh, he knows.
He sees a spray, and Flarezo gets the connection. Exodus gets 1 more, and now it is just Packbull left.
Drop down from the stairs, but it's not going to be helping. Exodus gets that very final kill, and it seems like HellRaisers are in complete control of the map so far during this first half on their attack. Yes, they have lost one of those rounds. Team Secret managed to bring it back around, but having 2 already is going to be such a big help. As we're going to go for a very quick rehost or a pause. It's going to be Sleben that quickly needs to restart. It's a moment of potential resetting here for the side of Secret, because it's not going too strong yet for them. coach, of course, is not allowed to talk, so they need to do it all within themselves, within the five-shaped item. I have no clue
knows
what's
what
in
that
it.
is? A ball, maybe?
No
Or a
clue.
bike?
In a ball. Maybe it's a bike. Maybe it's a car, actually.
Maybe it's a car.
What we do know is that round 4 has been unpacked, or is starting to be unwrapped right now, as we're getting into it. HellRaisers looking to find their third, where Secret is looking to break that momentum that they are slowly starting to build up. A Tachanka is being brought. Of course, the Shamikas are a effective tool to stop any plant from happening, especially on this bomb side, where often, you know, the wall gets opened up into dining, they get right behind the bomb chassis with all the other angles being watched, and there's suddenly not much you can do anymore after that, especially not if it's a full 5-on-5 retake. You really need to make sure that you have utility at that point, either it be a smoke canister, a C4, or those Shumika launchers, which you can use from that distance. Team Secret, the pressure is on.
It's also, I suppose, a moment now where it's more than just the pressure being on. It's this is their map too, and you know there was the start of the early game in Bank. It was a little bit back and forth, but I would still say that HellRaisers were the team that were lacking, and they realized that earlier on. It's some of the same pace that we saw on the first map, which just sort of slipped away from them here.
Yeah.
And Secret generally did better on their defenses. The attacks, there were those little mistakes that were even costlier here on a map where if we don't see those fine-tuned out on their defenses, if we don't at least generally see a 3-3, I think that that is such a cause for concern here for Secret. And Exodus is getting in quite quick here.
Yeah, and there's no one currently on that B bomb site, so he's going to be able to completely deny this wall from being denied itself. If he sneaks up far enough through this hallway,
no way.
He's going to be right around the barbed wire, not going to be spotted out, might have to knife that plant out of the way. Spectre's starting to open up. He's going to be caught off right here if he's not careful enough. He's actually going to swing it. He gets the kill as well. He was trying to go and try and find and see if anybody was close to that wall, but as he fails to do so, loses his life, and that could have been a HellRaiser round already locked in.
That was just that timing there where we talked about Packball before. He got a kill in a similar way, right? I don't think he expected anyone to be anything, but that is why you always check. Always check your corners. Don't just go through, especially when you're at a team that is this pacey. Now, as they try and burn their way through, the drone is just going to give all the intel that they can about Keenan's positioning. He knows that he's under a lot of pressure here, and he knows he's just sort of buying as much time. Hopes that the cover comes through from the other players that might just be able to pop over the top of the door. There's a pre-fire, there's a spray, and there's still a bit of dangerous ground and territory. Wants to try and loop this through the hole. It's a dangerous gambit, and it almost pays off. That really could have been a step away from disaster and a second body, but look at the push now that's going to come through. It's the cover of Kendra onto Piano that's trying to offer as much ground as possible.
Oh,
and Keenan just pre-fires the angle again. Another scratch and a scrape onto one more player. Drives through, finally dropped. And the pick back up as Smash gets one more, but it's locked off, and Amision is now the only one left. Finds his way in via that balcony up to the smoke and is able to get to a little bit of solidity here. And as he examines the close lumber and brickwork, it's actually pulled away. 50 seconds, and the remaining 3 Secret players have decided they don't want to play up here too much. They're instead going to wait for him to have to make his approach.
Packball and Keenan have been key players in this round. Packball for just checking that corner, of course, and picking up the kill onto Exodus. And Keenan, in the end, for holding out so long, picking up so many of these kills, really assuring that this round would be going Secret's way. Imagine, it could have gone the other way around if only it was Exodus that watched for the entry there. If there was only a drone in the side that would tell him that currently no one is on the side of that wall. But as Amision opens up and gets the first, there's 18 seconds left and not a single diffuser in his hand right here, and 2 kills he needs to find. The question is, will he do it in time? He has to drop. He has to go aggressive. Doesn't find the first and gets found immediately after. It's Secret that equalized the score.
Well, they find a second. They find themselves at least pulling a little bit back there. And obviously, HellRaisers got quite aggressive quite quick, and Packball was able to take a very important kill. The second time he's been able to do that today. But it's still this, you know, sort of build from that. It's an awareness that you want them to have. It's a little bit more of an attitude responding towards what's being put in front of them rather than hoping to sort of drive their game through. And I mean, if it's the start of something, they'd better hope to thread a couple more rounds together. As I said, a 3-3 before heading into their attacks, even on a Chalet, I still think is a little bit of a cause for concern.
But it's something you can work with.
But it's something you can work with, and you hope, I suppose, if you're a Secret fan, to be proven wrong by their performance from Bank compared to a performance that they might be able to put here.
Yeah, for sure. As we head into the replays here, Keenan with some amazing shots. Takes out the first, I believe. Yep. The pre-fires, the grenades about to be tossed in by Flairzo.
Right through his cap.
Yeah, exactly. And afterwards, managed to take down Rush as well, who tried to go through the door. And as a result, Team Secret now equalizing the score. The, form after the rehost so far paying off just slightly. Of course, it wasn't completely flawless from the side of HellRaisers. It was more so that they gave some kills away to some extent, open up a little bit too much maybe with the Maverick. Those are things that they can improve on. Has it happened twice now? They need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Now, keep in mind, they have been very effective on the side of HellRaisers of taking care of the utility, the placeable utility that Secret brings with them. And that is something that is their strength. It really forces Secret to play and rely more upon their throwables. And that's exactly what they're doing right now with 3 nitro cells and 3 smoke canisters. But as the first gets picked up, that means there's only the nitros left now.
Kendrew just caught, buried in on a corner, and Keenan isn't too far away, so they still at least have some presence there, but still a huge player who could not quite find their contribution this game so far, and obviously he drove a lot of the early game in the favor of Secret. So for him not quite able to connect, it could turn into a little bit more of a costly affair. They have themselves a little bit stretched out underneath. They're hoping the approach comes around that library side to see if they can try and put some pressure in from underneath, but it's otherwise been a very quick lockout here onto the opposite side. They've found their stability around lobby. They're hopping in towards box to see if they can put the pressure now onto the back of Sleben. They want to take over the top. And this is, to be fair, one of the cleanest approaches they've had, gifted by that early pick against Kendrew.
Yeah, for sure has been indeed. They have that pick. They have a lot less utility to really worry about, and I believe mirror window is about to be opened up as well by one of those Twitch drones. Not completely sure headed that direction. It seems like they're well aware right here. They're missing the shots, but eventually will still get the kill. Smash finds that one, secures it as well with a 5-3 left on that scoreline, and that means that Razor's really bringing it back right now, quickly.
It's twice, 2 kills, 2 informations, 2 swings through softs that have just absolutely punished Secret here, and there's a massive bout of awareness that HellRaisers have brought to this swing round since the replay, going for a wall that is time-consuming, but the time was one that they were able to put the pressure on before. The spray through the mirror window gets a good connection just before that wall collapses, makes it dangerous, but a C4 might be able to cause a lot more destruction. That's why Flairzo is giving it such a wide space, and here he's going to see if he can burn through it, bait it out, but everything is being pinged by Rush, and that was called a mile off, pulled away, and that's that drone game I've talked about on Chalet. It is so devastating and so consistent for attackers.
Oh, what a shot.
And there is the 3rd drone-led kill this round.
Yeah, so much information. Playing off well here on the side of HellRaisers, and that leaves them in a 2v4 advantage right now. They want to go for a plant, but Gumphy playing around the shield here in the piano gets smoked off. That is going to be crucial. That allows them to push in, and as the shield gets taken down, so does he. It's only up to Keenan now on 10 HP, gets swung on, gets the very first kill, but needs to find 3 more, or that diffuser. But as the hatch is being watched, or more so the hole or angle is being watched, the kill comes in for the side of HellRaisers, and they take the advantage yet once more.
I mean, it was such a good drone game, and that's, highlighted what they can bring onto this map itself. It's played into, it's one of the big reasons in my books as to why Chalet is still driven into the hands of attackers, is because of how concise your intel game can be. And at this top tier, in this tier of game, intel is the driving force. It's the famous, many quoted words of Fabian back when he was in the world-defining squad and leading it is, if they lose drones in their prep phase, they've lost the prep phase. That's how important it can be in a general game sense. Here, you have the map in your favor. There's so many plants, so many beams, so many corners, so many things to parkour.
Yep.
It's just a nightmare, and it's proven dividends here for Secret Hold.
It definitely has. And as we're going to the bottom floor, that is going to be quite an odd one. I haven't really seen that one a lot this year. And we always bring it back to our great analogy of the fact that there's not much rings to the onion if you play it here.
Yeah.
It's not really easy to expand out over the map.
And some of the rings are kind of solid.
Some of the rings are solid, you cannot do anything about it, and the others are kind of soft. You can basically just fire one bullet and you've gone through it.
It's an uncomfortable onion.
Yeah, it's not the best onion if you want to go for onion setups. So that's often why we don't see this one. Not much of secondary, tertiary positions you can play in and fall back slowly. It's more of a turtle with a small roam attached to it.
Pre-firing and hoping that they can remove some of that intel away from them that, as I said, has caused so many problems. Comfy is ready on the window above the hatch, waiting
Did that
for the loop round, and it does. It wasn't above the hatch even, it was below the hatch. They were going to see if they could get their opening here onto the garage side, and there's a very early catch. The Finker's gone, but more importantly, probably Smash is gone. And obviously, since the rehost, they've been able to pick up 5 kills, which is an exceptional drive. It's an exceptional player, and it's an exceptional loss that they might suffer here as they try and lock in their 4th.
Yeah, for sure, but they're going to be able to find one back instantly. Comfy, who opened up with that Nitro, is going to be opened up onto himself right now. Some wallbangs are attempted though. Sleben still playing around that piano is going to be, well, leaving HellRaisers a bit worried. There is still going to be that roamer they need to deal with, and due to the fact that this is not a onion-like setup, they do need to go for these roamers to waste as much time as possible, because if the only thing you have in your control is going to be the side itself, you're going to lose it quite soonly. As Flarzo just too late right there to pick up the rotation of the very last roamer. It's being spotted out right now. Kendrew. It is going to be a 4-on-4 as we continue.
That's it, pulled away. They're just able to slip and slink themselves out of the immediate danger that's coming through. They obviously have the tracks, but it's a player in a position that's just around the stairs for now. They feel confident to keep themselves there. They know the pressure that's going to come through. They might still have, it looks like lobby cam might have still been up there, and instead the drone and the pressure is going to come around on the bar side. Instead, pick up sticks, and Flares is going to see if they can cut off a little bit more of a width here, as they've got a lot of the control of bunker. They feel confident, but it's still not pressure onto the site itself. As we said, it's a lot of hard walls. It's a lot of a lock-in now, and as they've finally been able to get all of this verticality, you'll hear the Bucks start to echo out, open up around above that snowmobile side, and, well, actually find Packbull in the meantime. Emission suffers massively for it, and there's the revenge. Kendrew starting to lean back into this aggression.
Yeah, snuck back up, managed to pick up that kill, goes aggressive yet once more now as he spots the Maverick is trying to open up the wall and a big panel. As there is a Twitch drone that does take care of one of those chems. More information gets lost on the side of Secret now with a big opening as well for the side of HellRaisers to go for a potential plant. It's going to be canisters and grenades all being tossed in very soon with Exodus, of course, on those main stairs, and the rest of Secret really heavily located throughout those wine cellar. And now with the flank that comes in from Exodus, he's going to be able to challenge Sleben here.
Sleben's going to see if he can hold off as Exodus tries to drive himself closer and closer, but Sleben wins it out, and the smokes down towards the backside. Keenan can't lock the door, but Kendrew has the cover, and it's a 2 versus 1 rush. Puts it into a 1 versus 1. There's barely any time. It's a spray, and it's Sleben that just holds on to the even half.
I don't know how Sleben and Rush just walked past each other there just for a couple of seconds, and neither of them were able to spot the other out and get that kill. But as a result, we leave ourselves on a 3-3 half here as HellRaisers, who, of course, took that early loss earlier with the C4 from Comfy, almost managed to bring it back yet once more. But now, the big worry point comes in. Secret wasn't able to win a singular attack on Bank. Now they have to do it on Chalet here. They need to make sure that they pick up these attacks quickly and put themselves in a good position to win this second map and continue to fight, because if they don't, they're in big trouble.
Okay, Secret. As I said, this is what my eyes are on, because your attack on Bank was unfortunate at points. Little mistakes led to lost rounds. Here you've got Chalet, the drive and the intel that it can offer into your support. But again, if HellRaisers are able to punish those mistakes, it really doesn't matter what else you do in the build-up. If the execute is a slip and a fumble and a fall, the result is the same. Hilarious clips posted to the timeline later. This is your chance to drive some of this energy back in. A bit of a pick-me-up before you head, obviously, into the middle showdown, the second HellRaisers map after the bans have come through, where you expect to see the games get a little bit closer and closer as time goes on.
Yeah, especially. We'll turn closer and closer. We gotta see if this one goes the way of Secret or if HellRaisers is looking to be putting up a second on the board quite quickly. Because if the matches do get closer, it can just go either way. At some point, it just becomes a bit... Oh, that's unfortunate. Probably wanted to hide it in the plants there, but of course, destroyed some of them as a result. We're often a small hiding spot for drones as well. And before the patch, when the Mute Jammers got changed, that Mute Jammer wouldn't have done anything, but now it stops drones coming in from that drone hole, and there's nothing the Twitch drone can do about it.
That's it, and you've got to play against the drone game. It's so important here, and Kendry's going to lead Gomfy in underneath to see if they can get some of this early control now onto the snowmobile side. Dropped in and around onto the top. There is a couple of players above onto the site itself and a couple just below, and it's the steady creep and crawl of intel more dropped. And the call will be that they're slowly making their presence over here, but it's to be expected. Keenan has some of that split pressure up onto the blue staircase itself as well, and Sleben's going to stack themselves in just with some cover and support. They've quickly got themselves a pocket of land. Now let's see what they can do with it.
And they got to make sure to work it right here if they want to get the best advantages out of it to make sure that they lead this into a round. Now, a minute has passed. Exodus is preparing a jump out, especially if any of the repels will be coming in onto that big window to try and stop the actual bomb site from being pushed. As the rest of Secret is getting in a position here to get rid of the electro claws, it doesn't seem like they can find it. I believe it's on the ceiling here next to one of those beams, but Kendry wasting a lot of time trying to find it.
Well, we can start to hear some of it get popped off, and he's thinking about just using utility. He's not quite sure. You can see it directly above, but it's trickier to get that angle. It's above you, my friend. Well, he's going to see if he can get even more opened up, and he still thinks it's on the floor. It's on the roof.
Sees it the entire time. The ping is even coming out right now where the around position is. A grenade then will take care of that electroclaw. That means 2 impacts and a grenade have been used. And Kendra goes back onto that rappel right now. Still players from below can use these verticals to their advantage if they truly want to. And of course, the EMP dart in the bulletproof cam will be trying to take care of some of these drones to stop extra information flow from coming in. There's 46 seconds now on the clock. They need to start pushing. Kendra still below to stop any of the verticalities to come through. And his grenades and the Gun 6 are going to be used to get rid of any further utility. They need to make sure that they pick up these kills down inside of Secret.
Now, there is obviously the players that are underneath on the roam as well. And that might cause some problems a little bit later as the drive starts to come through. They're going to see if they can get the opener here onto box. There is still the danger of C4s in pocket. And this is all area that's aggressively smoked off to make sure nobody has the presence of mind. There it is. The first take underneath. And Kendra goes down. Zofia caught out by a Mission who just keeps that lock in, and as the bodies start to fall above as well, it's Gomfy and Sleben that's able to pull 2 of them back into the favor, instantly dropped as they try to recollect that diffuser. It's Gomfy who's grabbed it. He's going to go deep. It's a 3 versus 2 versus 1, but with no time to get the last 2, HellRaisers lock it out.
Yeah, they lock it out indeed, and you know, there was one behind the bomb chassis, one still below. There was no way he was going to be able to get 2. Maybe he was going to be able to go for a defuse instead if he found one. But HellRaisers, they take the lead here yet once again. No attacking round yet to be won by Secret. And Kitchen Dining is going to be up next. And pretty similar setup coming out from the side of Secret. Similar operators to come through. HellRaisers also not really changing too much about their setups here. And as we keep on trading, you see it right here on the scoreboard. It has been trading all along. It is going to be an interesting round. Is HellRaisers finally going to be able to, well, put 2 together? And with that, expand on their lead and potentially work towards their second map.
Down to Kitchen, and HellRaisers have the first in their favor. Now, obviously, as we said, this is the map that Secret wanted to bring the fight to. This is a map that HellRaisers have played, but it's one where, you know, if they can take it and they're looking at their next choice and they've built up the energy of a team desperate to fight their way into Tier 1, it puts you in that tricky situation of Secret. They should be able to do a little bit more damage than they are, and these little moments are building up to potentially big, bitter disappointment. The stretch comes through. You see them head downstairs, but with a similar sort of hold where they've still got the extension above. It is a 2-story setup, a 2-story site, pairing, and a 2-story story of stories.
It's definitely the second chapter of the story so far, considering we just had the first map, and HellRaisers, of course, a little bit disappointed from their loss against M&M, knowingly full well that there is this second chance that they are currently trying to grasp onto with their first, you know, finger already right around the trophy of getting into EUL. Looking to put the rest of the hand right around it as well. Now, Secret need to win some of these attacking rounds, especially right now if they want to make sure that they're starting to win these maps. Because it's not looking too strong for them as of yet. The majority of Chalet has looked like it was HellRaisers' map as well. Even though some small mistakes were made and Secret capitalized off those, but just imagine those mistakes not being made. It could have been a 5-1 for 5-2 right now, for example.
Secret going for a little bit of the pace here again, locking themselves into lobby with a minute left. There's going to be nowhere near as much of a slowdown here onto box, but as important as it is, it's still not the most important step through right onto the side as it was before. Mission keeps that for now. The mute jammer is making sure that they have some lock in here. He's going to see if he can go wide and take care of it, and he's able to.
Risky.
Very risky play there. They obviously had a little bit of an intel and an idea via the mirror window itself, but still, that's a Selma gone, and, well, there's the rest of the wall falling, and that's the position sort of moot anyway, but it was a bit of a risk.
You force them to use some extra pieces of utility here, actually, so that's always a small win. Grenades being used to get rid of the mute jammer and an extra Salmons as well to go in. Of course, they have a small opening towards the site right now, but as Gumfy falls, it's yet again an attacker that hits the board right here. Exodus, playing from above, is doing so expertly well, and as Keenan is going on the next, Hearn is just rush, hiding in a small angle right behind the washing machine, and as Keenan is going to be slowly creeping past to head up to those west stairs. He could be caught off if he doesn't drone this well enough.
Well, that's it, and this is the caution, because they played a player off-site previously, and, well, there it is. There's the reveal, and there's the spray through. There's a bit of an isolation of that single player. The pings are going to come through, and there's literally no way out at this moment in time for that HellRaisers player, but there's only 40 seconds. And as Kendrew starts to put the pressure, a great take from Keenan, very important, and that means he can now focus onto the site itself. They're able to get themselves the body advantage. There's all the intel in the world that pops Kendrew low as the follow-up comes from Packpool. 20 seconds, and Smash puts it back into a little bit of the favor, but there's instantly a response from two Secret players, and now it's just Smash above, going by pings, trying to find some semblance of safety. Packpool is low. They're going to see if they can get the lock in now, but the plant comes through. A spray towards the default is a fair idea, but it's not one that nets him a result for now. A cook grenade doesn't quite have the full connection to Smash by Ash. They've set themselves up and stacked here for the Roman rotation on separate different sides. It's not the greatest utility to try and fight your way back through, and he's going to see if he's gifted before he has to try and make that long route all the way down, and unfortunately for him, no results, no net, no nothing. 20 seconds, and just more of a reveal on where they can hide. A little bit of hide and seek. It's coming through into their favor, and it seems like, well, there's the punctuation from Keenan, the full stop in the shape of a grenade.
Yeah.
4-4.
For a while, it seemed like it could have gone HellRaisers' way, but as the player was locked out below, as the player was being occupied on the back and in trophy, suddenly there was still that man advantage for Secret on the side, which was so important. Now, that gives them their first round on their attacks over these two maps, and they need to find more for sure. And as HellRaisers is going back to the kitchen and the dining, as they do not want to opt to go for the third tree side as of yet. They failed to get 2 rounds in a row, and that one will be up to Secret now. They have the opportunity to do so, especially as HellRaisers is going to be running it back. They're going to try and go for 2 in a row here now, and let's see who will get out on top here. If it will be HellRaisers yet again, they're in a good position to reach that map point first and put the pressure on truly onto the side of Secret, and potentially force out a tactical timeout as well, because neither of those have been used yet this game. Only in the first map, it was Secret that pulled out one of them. Coach hasn't had to intervene afterwards yet.
4-4. We still find ourselves back and forth. It's actually been a traded round every single round this game. Nobody has been able to thread 2 rounds in a row.
Exactly.
It's a sort of vicious bite back and forth, and I guess now's the chance for Secret to break that mold, because, well, they need to. They cannot get to OT or match point. It spells danger, regardless of how the result goes, because I still think at this point they need a little bit of a mental upswing. They need to know, because if HellRaisers here are able to put this intense pressure down, it is suddenly a very tricky mental game, beyond a very sort of aggressive build-up of the CIS team just consistently putting themselves and pushing themselves further and further forward into the fight here.
Yeah, for sure. And Secret is trying to do their best. They're trying to get a control out here. As Secret, in the meantime, opening up from the big garage as well, looking to go for multiple different facets of the attack. Now, they want to go for these stairs. They want to get West Main under control. Bit of miscommunication there, as already the camera had been taken care of. But the big question as well here is, how is HellRaisers going to be responding to this attack? Because the last time around, they, well, basically committed 2 players to that top floor hold. Doesn't really seem to have any priority right now from any of the Secret members, as they're looking to go for the basement and the first floor directly. How are you going to be able to deal with that? I mean, there is a bunch of these vertical angles to come through, but the last time they just ran past them as they were too slow on actually utilizing them. Well, that's too late, I think.
Just is going to get the first lineup.
Yep.
Well. We'll get the Electroclaw as well.
Yep.
And that means that the second one will be able to open up as well. It's a bit of an unfortunate timing there, distracted by the Twitch drone, which is fair enough. The Twitch drone was just able to get the mute jammer in time. Whether Secret knew how well they played that or not, either way, it's one of those bouts of favors that gone their way, and they've been able to build behind it. Gomfi gets an opener. They take care of utility that caused them quite a lot of problems before as they start to angle themselves towards the default plant spot itself. There is still some pressure and presence underneath, but there's not an immediate loop round apart from the hatch. If it's open, it gives them a C4 angle, but they'll be aware of this. So it's actually going to be a loop back around here as Rush is concerned. He might be under the next bit of pressure. He's just going to keep himself locked in here with a bit of a swing and an extension towards the site if he needs it, as Smash is going for these very long angles from the back line of Solarium.
Well, they basically need to try and contest them, because otherwise they're just going to be allowed to go freely in and go and plant right behind the bomb chassis. Smoke canisters are being tossed in now to deny any of the lines of sight, but Packbull is being forced deep by all the smoke canisters that come out. Smash is going to be well aware of this now, tries to swing in, tries to get that kill, but as he takes some small amount of damage, I believe that's the actual kill to come through. The diffuser has been dropped as a small bit of team damage comes through.
Small bit of team damage, but the most important part is they got that diffuser. It puts them in a 3 versus 2, but now they have a backline. Now they have 30 seconds, and now they have Secret trying to see if they can put some mantle of a pressure in. They know exactly where they are. They just need to time this push perfectly as the pressure comes through. It's a lot of pre-fires, and there's the cover from Flarezo round on the back line. They're making it work, and now it's suddenly a 2 versus 2, and Gomfi's been able to get into a tight spot, but they need Kendrew to apply some pressure on the back. It's turned into 2 1 versus 1s, and it's an ace! I believe that it's just stopped. The quad kill lit up there, and I'm not entirely sure the name that was underneath it. We'll hopefully get some confirmation in a second, because either way, the 2 remaining players were the dig-in fight there.
I've no clue who won that one in the end there. I believe that was a quad kill on either side, and as we are heading, I believe, for a very quick tactical timeout, I dare to say. I'm not quite sure.
I'm trying to run it back in my head. Flarezo, I think, was on the triple, so I think it was Flarezo's quad that popped up. Because 2 kills happened, like, at the same second.
Yeah, they did happen instantly. I believe, was it blue or was it orange?
I don't remember.
Medics! You probably won't know as well right now. But Team Secret, the first team to get 2 in a row, and that is going to be the very important point here. Master Bedroom again being picked up here by the side of HellRaisers, as they just have lost their first floor side twice. Leaves them in a bit of a pickle. They need to make sure that they are going to be the ones on top in the end. They need to make sure that they will be reaching that 6 mark before Team Secret does, or at least the win of this game. But Team Secret currently have the best papers for it. They are currently in a good position to try and fight for that map and match point. Or rather, map point.
Secret have done what neither team has been able to do so far today on this map, and thread 2 rounds in a row. It is potentially a defining story here. It's the start of them being able to flip their momentum into their favor. Maybe. It is a map that does work its well for attackers. Maybe we'll see some growth here. Obviously, the timeouts come. It's been a conversation, and it was scrappy, but this is starting to look sharp from Secret, and it's a little bit late in the day, let's be fair, but if it is now, it's better than still when. And here, as they start this drive round, they're going to see if they can keep putting this pressure onto HellRaisers, still keep them on a bit of a back foot and start the drive. The engines are burning and turning. They're going to see if they can push the vehicle along with it. Pre-fires round into spots and pings as they see if they can try and pull some of this intel game out that was so sharp for HellRaisers before, but it's actually Keenan that suffers some scraps, but it's a Finker. They'll be able to get themselves a little bit back up and gives them the idea that they're watching. Let's be waiting.
At least we'll be taking one of those nanobots out of the rotation now. One less adrenaline surge they can use. There's some verticality there, actually dealt quite a bit of damage. Now, shields are being spotted. Smash, well aware, is trying to hunt that drone and will find it in the end. So no more utility on the side of Secret to come through. And as a Twitch drone now comes in, I believe he managed to get one of the ADSs, but that means still 2 are left standing. Also not quite sure, is there any Twitch drone left? Cannot see currently as the openings are coming in from below and grenades are being tossed in as well. Small amounts of damage are being done as a great Nitro comes out to pick up Comfy.
Emission here doing a lot of work to just cause some problems underneath and pulls back into the kitchen to make sure that he's not instantly locked out by a very important trade. And that trade game is one where you have to be aware of it. You have to have some consideration that either team is going to be instantly trying to respond to anything that you do. Keenan is going to see if he can drive his way here up towards the piano room. He doesn't quite have the confidence to go for the swing, expecting them to be holding angles, which, to be fair, HellRaisers have been doing very well, especially here on the top floor before. So as the burn comes around on any intel, anyone that might be close into the piano, it's actually Flarezo and Smash that are a little bit of that backline there either side of the corridor to the main bedroom, seeing if they can be ready to swing.
Well, breaches are coming in right now to create an opening to go for a potential plan, but as Rush is going to be able to pick up yet another kill, it is going to be the diffuser dropped. Openings will still be there. A response is finally found as Kendrew on that big window is going to be a crucial role and a crucial position to stop any potential rotates back in. Keenan as well, the exact same thing. As Slemon picked up that diffuser, he needs to try and find himself a place in a spot where he can go for a plant as Keenan is in deep to try and provide some support.
Takes care of the Banshee there to give themselves a little bit more confidence and a movement, because although he's there for now, he can't be there forever. The spray over the bomb chassis and another body pops up over the top, and Keenan suffers on the swing round as Emission gets one more and Rush logs it off. And we're back level pegging 5-5.
There it is, 5-5, and it is Secret that is not allowed to pick up a third round in a row, but the true question comes in now. Not a single other round in the top floor has been won yet. Just getting into this right now.
I think at this tier you're ready for anything. I think the biggest.
Of course you are.
I think the biggest comparison there is, you know, out of all the leagues around the world in tier 1, NAL play best of threes more familiar.
Well, they used to
consistently, and look where it got them.
All right, at the bottom of the table, being outperformed by APAC last major.
Not to just sass NA.
APAC has grown a lot, especially Damwon
APAC has grown a lot.
I think Damwon Key is literally one of my new favorite teams after how they consistently perform well over 2 majors.
Well, maybe today people are making new favorite teams in EU as well, because HellRaisers are impressing, and that's sort of the thing is, only one of these teams will be in tier 1 for the next year. And we'll always paint this brush because obviously there's transfer windows.
Yeah.
Tier 1, you have or tier 2 even, you have a lot of up-and-coming talent that will sort of demonstrate itself. You'll see players that have been able to make some moves on these rosters potentially picked up. You see players in these rosters that have been in tier 1 before. Obviously, Emission was
he has been
long ago. And I think that's the story here is it will be far from the last time you see these names, but the likelihood of teams sticking together, unfortunately, isn't so consistent.
See, if HellRaisers doesn't win this matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if a Virtus.pro or an Empire will be picking up one of the players. Like, I would absolutely not be surprised if one of them does, you know, come through into EL eventually, maybe even more. But of course, you want to come in as a team. That's what you want to achieve. You want to win the relegation match and earn your spot into the EUL rather than transferring in at the back of it. Of course, still, live goal achieved, but it's so much better if you do it on the back of a win.
Oh, yeah. Well, with the timeout over, we'll start to see if Secret can try and keep the momentum going. They were able to, last time they were on the offsites, pull 2 rounds in a row. That would net them the map here, and they're well aware of this. They know how close they are to pushing themselves back level, one apiece, before we head into our third map. They want to make sure that it's not the decider, because it is not in their pocket and their favor. The attention is being paid towards the top quite quickly here, as there's pre-fires and peppers and pops of bullets all over the shop, but sounds like they're still just doing some structural work. They know they have some time here, and that's going to be paid quite quickly. The Secret, as we said, are making sure that they can put the pressure. We saw them not be a little bit slow here on the box approach before, but it turned into a little bit of a scrappy fight where they're able to pull a couple of kills out from these engagements.
Now, I was going to say, again, they go for this first floor in the kitchen and the dining, but there's a big difference this time. I believe there's a lot more utility being used for this top floor. At least there's a lot more manpower on the side of Secret up on this top floor, and that means that it's a different attack, it's a different approach, and that might lean into the success of HellRaisers here. If they do manage to pick up some of these kills as they try and take the second floor under control to go for some verticality, that might actually lead HellRaisers to be winning this round here.
Well, the Cursed Echo drone is back. That caused so many problems for them before, and that shield still stands. The grenade didn't quite get itself all the way around, but with Kendrew now in the double window, he's cautious of the potential of a run out. He's going to see if he can just get some danger, and Exodus is going to hold in the close angle. It's a slow and steady swing, peek, and a test of anybody that might be close. The flash pops off. They have some consideration that nobody's behind the shield, and that's the reason they're being so cautious. Comfy sets themselves up here and goes for the spray through the window, finds a fight almost instantly, so instead goes on the upside down rappel and just sees the tail of a player flee and flood the way out. They've pushed HellRaisers into a new situation, and now as the pop comes round, they don't quite catch it. Smash is finally able to turn one of these almost engagements into a bit of a marriage between bullets. It is Keenan that is the first to suffer.
Rappel in the meantime was, I believe, not there. It's Gofi that went back down, but the top floor is under control now. Drones are coming through, but you got to be careful there for a potential run out to come in. Gofi tries to go in for the pre-fire here with the ARX, but is unable to land the shots now. 20 seconds left, a 4-on-5 situation. We got to look where Secret is going to be coming from. As grenades are being tossed in, some small damage is being done to Smash, but that doesn't really seem to matter. They need to go for a plant at some point, and as they're all being locked down one by one, it seems like HellRaisers has a flawless round to put themselves up onto map point yet once more. This could be a quick 2-0 in lead for HellRaisers here. And Secret, well, they should be struggling at that point. And I will be surprised if we get a tactical timeout now.
It was just a really well-played game on the top floor, and you could see that Secret were trying to be rewarded for the work that they were doing, breaking across the top. They just kept on having these near misses. You think if one of those other players had been in a slightly different location, if Gomfy had been on Solarium windows 5 seconds earlier, if, you know, there'd been the pressure coming through Trophy window 5 seconds earlier, it could have been a very different story. They could have been able to catch a player. The first one went away from them. And it was so many close opportunities just from a little bit of a disconnect of how well they were able to push people. Even if Kendrew had been able to get the read that somebody wasn't behind that shield a little bit earlier, you assume the other two steps would have been a little bit faster. It happened. It was punished by HellRaisers with the limit of time. Secret found themselves trying to throw themselves into the site in the engagement. At that point, not really left with much choice. Here, though, they now find themselves staring down the barrel of, at best, OT.
Yeah, that's what Secret is looking for, and I told you before, they changed the attack. Of course, logically speaking, at some point you have to make some changes there, but that might have cost them the round because the other attack they went for found them success twice. Didn't happen this time around, and that means that right now HellRaisers is on 6-5. Luckily for Secret though, there is going to be a tertiary side, one that hasn't really been played and hasn't been chosen, even though they lost the side twice in a row. And that does show, or at least does maybe give them the intention or the thought that it's not their best side. It might be vulnerable.
6-5, and a bit of a swing and an approach round from a bit of width here. They know that they're onto bar, and this is the first time we've seen the bar defense from the pockets of HellRaisers before, and it comes with a bit of aggressive approach from underneath. They've just suffered the wrong side of a flawless, and now they're going to see if they can be, well, less than flawed. They want to try and connect with some of the players, and they want to make sure they do it a little bit earlier because that was the cost. That was the fear, that was the panic, and that was the disconnect. They're burning their way through onto the connection, and that's a very important take because it forces out a backline, and that grenade does more than force out the backline. It drops the smoke player, a player who has been a big blow and was almost the clutch factor in another round that could have gone away from them before.
Not quite sure where that grenade came in from in the end there, but it's there nonetheless. As that does give the man advantage here now to the side of Secret. It is Exodus in a very difficult position. He's being challenged from the big window, but also from the small window on the side, and he has to choose where the Nitro will be going through. Goes out the window, but deals not a single point of damage right here, and he's now being challenged by 3 different guns, but somehow manages to escape with his life. And that means that they still need to hunt him down, but 1 minute 40 left on the clock. There's so much time for Team Secret. They need to make sure that they don't try and rush things here.
It was so exceptionally close to the wire there. It's a sliver and it's a pixel, and sometimes you're gifted with the head of a player, but this time no show. A minute 30. A minute 30 now for Secret to see if they can capitalize on the fact that they're able to get that very early take against the smoke player, a big player in the pockets of a back line here. And as the grenade and the pressure comes through towards the default plant, they're going to see if they have the cover, they have the verticality, and they have the players in the situation. There's nothing that can stop them getting this diffuser down. And at this point, sure, they've gone for the attempt on the retake up above, and Rush is going a little bit wider on the small pop-in box and just sees the sliver catch go, but Kendrew has a catch of his own. Now in the double door, it's Sleben that gets one more for the score of Secret, and they're going to make sure that they're loud on every single door and aspect. Smash tries to find one on the back stairs, doesn't quite get the full connection as they go down on the sliver. In fact, it wasn't Smash, he's the only one left. He pulled up his name on the other side of the map on the other time, but it's one more for Sleben, and it's the first OT of the day.
Looking at how the defense has gone for HellRaisers so far, not really surprised we got her in the end. They did manage to get 2 rounds that they needed, then a third. But as they only really consistently managed to get defense rounds on 2 of these sites, you might be a little bit... Their at least potential salvation here is the fact that they start off on their best side, which they have won twice. If they manage to do so yet once again, they have that opportunity to lock it off on their attack rather than a defensive round.
I think that's the thing right now, is this site 100% win rate here for HellRaisers, and they've only really lost it once on their attack as well, of the 3 times that we saw it on the other turn of the half. It's this sort of tricky situation, and I know I've sort of said it's tricky the whole day, but that's the game that HellRaisers play, is they keep the pressure on in these sort of unsuspecting and unfamiliar ways that Secret hasn't quite been able to build into. It's something that Fresh has talked about before, is when you're up against these teams, these sort of tier 2 teams, and you know, if you're up against a team that's tier below you, the game is in a way a different face. It's a different facet. It's a different combination of the defense and attack, where it becomes even tougher to predict things, because it's not that things get stale, but things get familiar within a tier.
Yeah.
There's always outliers. There's always teams like Helios. There's always these surprise factors, but it's tough to prepare for an evolving game when it's an entirely different sort of ecosystem.
It surely is, and besides that, you're also playing against a Russian team that is overall a quite aggressive region overall, a very sophisticated region as well, just like, for example, the Yukon starts to be. That might also play in favor of HellRaisers here. They play against the likes of Empire, of Virtus Pro very often, and that does give them some good official game practice on a many different amount of maps. And a big question here, of course, is HellRaisers going to be able to pick up this first round on their defense? It is key. They need to make sure it happens, otherwise they will be in big trouble.
A quick opener here as they try and put the pressure onto the top, and what we're seeing for the first time is a Maverickless play, and Packbull is lying into the safety of that. How many times have we seen this wall cause somebody to fall, cause somebody to suffer? It's the Maverick that keeps getting caught out, and they just played against that. And the Storm has been massively successful in getting box open in a record time that neither team have been able to manage up to this point. It buys Secret some more time, a precious resource that has filtered and flitted through their fingers multiple times. The grenades bounce around onto the corner to see if it can remove anything that might be on the other side, and anyone, but nobody's quite caught as of yet. There's still a cautiousness. Hey, look at this. The one thing that you called for and asked for once upon a time was an Exodus roam, and they're aware of it. Packbull actually goes to watch it just at the moment it comes together as it starts to pop off. Packbull's crept in. They're going to see if they can get the plant. It's open underneath.
Should be able to.
It's the Echo drone that actually pops up, and it doesn't quite get it behind the beam. It connects, and a little bit of a favor swings into theirs, and finally they're rewarded with the Christmas present delivered just at the perfect time. Gomfy gets one more connection. The side has otherwise slipped away from them so many times, finally has an answer, and it's presented by a bit of lumber that crossed the top of the screens. A swing round at the top, and Secret once again are pulling themselves ahead.
Their first map point so far. They have the opportunity to bring this to 1-1 and push us towards that best of 3 that we have been waiting to see. Let each other win the maps. Make sure that we go for these full 5. It is a very important matchup. Of course, neither of these teams want to go for full 5, but everybody watching on the back, except for the fans, Well, okay, let's rephrase. All the neutral fans want to see the
Neutral
full 5
fans
maps.
want a great show.
If it's a secret fan,
Yeah.
you're probably going to be like, you know what, 3-1 is perfect. We'll lock that off. Same goes for the HellRaiser fans right now, or they would prefer the 3-0 even, as that's still on the board. But HellRaisers, they will still have the task to win, first of all, the attack round now. It seems quite possible. Their attacks have been quite well. It's just the defenses on that map that haven't really been going too well as of yet. And they will have to fight one more afterwards if they do manage to survive now. And that is the big worry. Of course, they have the opportunity to go back to that top floor. And they have the opportunity to do things differently. But first, they need to survive this round.
Now, Kitchen. There has been a bit of a loss on this site before. There has been a bit of, not a problem for them on the site, but the second time round, we got to remember how quickly, kind of trippy,
It's kind of trippy.
HellRaisers player was right up on the door, and Packball swung around, got the opener, and then they were able to find a swing onto the second. It was 2 HellRaiser players that went not hyper aggressively, but aggressive enough that questions became, well, unfortunate answers that were puzzled right on the doorway, and it was the joy of checking your corners and the rewards that come through with them. Here, you assume that HellRaisers aren't going to suffer the same thing. They'll be more attuned to the potential swing round, and as they go for themselves up on the top, they're not throwing themselves all the way to the connection of the site this time round. Instead, they're going to focus on the game that they can do, which is this pretty steady clear down.
It's going to be a bit difficult here to try and find the entrance, as Rush is looking to find the Electro Claws, unable to do so as of yet. As Keenan, looking to find a player of himself as well, has the Nitro available to him, is being drawn out actively though. Slowly waiting, utility is about to be tossed in here. A grenade coming right around the corner is not going to be able to get that shield or Keenan or the Kona station. And that means it is basically just a wasted piece of utility here.
Well, as explosives start to try and filter their way over to the top, the Maverick, and as I said, many Mavericks have been punished on this wall. It is a danger spot for a lot of players in a lot of positions. The Thunderbird brings a little bit of a new aspect towards the hold here. It's just buying them a little bit more life. And to be fair, one of the times that a sort of fight boiled around the piano, the music, was a player just driving himself forward and hitting as many discordant tunes against the heads of the defenders as possible. So the solidity of that hold onto the piano swing is going to be something that probably pays itself in dividends. Hey, yellow pings from great drones. Remember those from the HellRaisers attack before. It's still working, and it's still causing a lot of pressure here onto the backline, but they haven't quite been able to find the connection to the secret players as of yet. They're still building their way around slowly and steadily, but we got to remember this is just the verticality for the site itself. There's a minute for them to see if they can try and lock down the main site too, and it's Gomfy just trying to hold on for now.
I wonder how well aware HellRaisers is of this current fact, because they're starting to go aggressive here. Keenan picks up the very first kill as Packbull falls right after. Gomfy going aggressive, but he gets spotted out. It's a trade kill, however, to come through. A 3-on-3 with 50 seconds left on the clock, and they still need to go to that bottom floor. But there is still people up on that top floor, and they still need to try and clear them out as they're just waiting to strike.
Well, they're going to pull back. They're going to make sure that they have the solidity onto the site itself, and sure, there might start to be a bit of an opening towards a default plant spot, but 30 seconds. Rush has to see if he can find a way downstairs with this diffuser, and are they going to see if they can try and put themselves beneath the play that they've got before the swing? And the pop of the proximity gives them one more. Sleben, he pushes even deeper, but Smash is able to get a bit of revenge. 20 seconds, 2 versus 2. Keenan is massively injured, and HellRaisers have a little bit more with the concerns of the thinker pumping through their veins, but the concern is paid to the player down inside the trophy. They can't quite net one more of their own, but look how low Kendra and Keenan are. They just need to push. They need to take it. 5 seconds. One player, Kendra. Can he solidify it? The spray does not go, and they just take it all the way. And we are going max OT.
On the nip of time there, they really needed to push in. They were upstairs for so long. And now it's max OT on map number 2. Either can take it. HellRaisers, they still have full site selection. They can go for any site they want. And they decide to go to Kitchen Dining, the site that they have lost twice out of the 3 times they played it. It might be a mistake here, but it might also be success. Secret will have to attack this. Secret will have to bring the pressure to them, but they have done so well on their attacks on this map. And now the big question comes in. Is HellRaisers going to be able to win it a second time? Or have they made a mistake of the site selection here?
2 seconds. Less than that, probably, if we went back and rolled the tape, separated Secret from taking a map, and it was a hip-fire, pre-fire onto probably the only angle that they had to really play with in that situation. So, one more swing, one more chance here for both teams, but it's probably a little bit more intense for Secret's pockets on their map, on their chance to try and put some of this pressure back into their favor here. Over the top, as you said, we're going back to kitchen, back to a hold with some slight differences as before. We still have the ace in the pocket, the change from the player, the Maverick, that just did not quite connect. And again, that pace, that difference is something that has cost Secret. Not just on rounds here on Bank, or not just on rounds here on Chalet, but back on Bank as well. It was an expensive expenditure that they really didn't want to account for again.
Now, the key part here, again, is the fact that HellRaisers, they want to play this vertically. They want to make sure that Secret comes in for the top floor first, and if that's the case, they might have just locked off the map here. If Secret indeed goes as heavy on that top floor as they did the last time around, it could be over, but it seems that they're going for a different take. They might even be going for the basement right into the side if they feel like it, but they need to have that control first. And of course, they're setting up these flank drones. They don't want to be struck from the back yet once again. Their information has been quite good here on Chalet. They've managed to catch up multiple of these flankers or been aware of them potentially happening time and time again. But this is the most important round right now. They need to win this. They need to make sure that they get this control of the map very quickly, because a minute has just passed and all they've done is get some control and some information.
It's quick, but it's in places that they're sort of just fielding themselves all the way around. The Echo's back on the board, and Nightmare, that's been a little bit of a back and forth, and it almost went around just before. And here it's going to see if it can get some redemption, but to be fair, it's this map that really bit them. A bit of lumber, 10 centimeters further ahead, and this map would have already been over. The Selmas pop. They're able to open up the box here and give them this route through onto the top floor, but there's still obviously the players that they have to meet up with, and Smash is having a heck of a game so far. It's a constant that's often tied with his name, but if he's able to keep this pressure up and put some of that pushback back onto the approach here, might be Secret finding themselves losing time once again.
They did get control of that top floor just partially, have forced back some of these players. Now the opening onto the actual site starts coming in. This is what they want. This is what they need. But they need to get rid of the utility pieces. They need to get rid of the evil eyes that will be able to zap them down to about low HP. They need to get rid of the yokai drones, which have cost them a round before and could cost them the game right now. Kendrew waiting for the drone, or waiting to catch up any of the rotating players that want to desperately stop this plant from happening, as the rest of Secret is getting in a position where they could go for a plant. Gomfy watching the angle, watching them go aggressive here. Packbull getting in a position where he's getting into, well, right behind the bomb chassis to get that diffuser down. 45 seconds on the clock, soon to be 45 again.
Now, it looked like an impact or an explosive actually stopped whatever was going to come through in the pocket. The plant goes down, and it was the smoke that got caught, and Keenan finds, well, nothing on the other side. It's a very important loss right now, and the Echo drone's pinging as much as it can, but it's a little bit too late, and as Packbull crawls to some semblance of safety, he's waiting for the Maestro to swing a little bit further wide. Kendrew is on the far side, and Packbull, he's been able to drift to another corner, takes the header for one player, goes for the second, saved by the boxes and the bell, but it finally rings out. Sleben connects with Smash. It's Kendrew round on the backside, a 2 versus 2, a 2 versus 1, just down now.
They got it!
Is just caught out. HellRaisers, they connect with map 2. They have the advantage. They just need one more for a year of tier 1.
What a last round that was. It was so stressful. They managed to get the defuse down. In the end, it got so close. Up to 9 seconds. Just 2 more seconds needed to be stalled or the kill onto Exodus, and it would have been over. There was no way the other player was back in time to get the defuse down. But HellRaisers, even though they slipped on round 13, managed to